Okay, so I just started the recording. Hello everyone, and I'm here with Michelle, and I'm the site creator of Consciousazine.com, and I just wanted to start today by going over a flu post I just made, because you had the flu. I just had a quick look what other people are saying out there. I do my own things, we can talk about that too. But hey, their advice was pretty good. So what I'm going to do is share my screen here, and then you can view this all after as well. So it's all recorded. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay. So just know how to get to this page. It's all in the More menu, and you just click on it, and it sort of releases its hold or something, and then you can scroll down just with the arrows on your keyboard, and that's the page you're on down here, all around health. So as you can see, there's other like health pages, and if you keep going down, there's a few others as well. If you go, I may as well show you while we're here quickly. If you go right down to the bottom of this menu here, there's a few pages. These three here are the most recent ones that I'm making. And I think you'll get a lot out of them. So let's just start right at the top here, because this has a practical implication for having a flu or a cold. That fugaplicins, I hope I pronounced that right, present in the essential oil, in many essential oils they're in, prevent the flu virus, any type, from replicating. And I've got that from... Yeah,
I'm sorry, I do use essential oils too.
Okay, well that's good, yeah. Do you place a drop on the back of your tongue?
Yes.
Yeah, that's a good thing that I sometimes do as well. I don't do that very often, but,
I do believe that it has helped curb some of the flu symptoms.
Yeah.
From being full force. Yeah. Because I do use essential oils.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree, and I mean that was just a sort of scientific explanation of that, of an actual compound that they've isolated which has that effect. So it's good to know. Some people I know wouldn't have a clue about that, and they probably don't do that. Before we quickly brush past this post, I've got a huge post, and I'm going to write a book on surfing and why it's so healthy. But vitamin D interacts, I don't know if you know this, but it interacts with something like 10% of our genetics. So there's 2,000 to 3,000 positive biological effects and genetic alterations and so on that it does. So, I mean, vitamin D from the sun, particularly, not even cod liver oil vitamin D3, but directly from the sun, so you get the full spectrum of vitamin D1, 2, 3, and 4. The natural way is always the best, obviously. So that has a huge effect. And every time I'm sick, I always end up sitting in the sun for a little while, and you just feel yourself out, Like I'll meditate, I'll go out, like I'll meditate in a dark room, then I'll go out and I'm back in the room and so on, When I have a cold, I go into I haven't had one for a long time. The last thing that happened to me was I got a viral infection from sucking on a bong at my friend's, and I've actually quit marijuana completely now because I'm just over it, and I've had enough of that and the vision and so on from that. But that was the last thing that's happened to me in 10 years. I used to get sick about 3 times every winter, and sometimes to lung infection point.
Yeah, me too.
So it's interesting, and people say as you grow up you get sick less. Yes, that's there, but that's not what I'm talking about. I've actually made a video on YouTube why I don't get sick anymore, and it's got to do with this as well, the thymus. Do you know much about this?
That's this right here? Can you see me tap?
Yeah, it's just like above your heart, yeah, basically, yeah. And, it has its own chakra and so on as well. So in my video, what I showed was, I mean, you can read this, in life energy, but basically it releases white blood cells, right? And if you've ever seen a white white blood cell chase down bacteria. They actually chase them and absorb them, hey? You can actually watch it on video. Yeah, pretty cool. So, on my video, let's show my screen so I can I'll have to stop sharing. Okay, we'll stop sharing for a minute. We'll come back to that so I can show what I do. Can you see me again?
Yes.
Okay, I hope everyone can see me. So what you do is you're meditating in a meditative state, which means you're always looking with your eye at things. Now, people say the pineal is the third eye. That's not really correct because it's not the chakra, it's not the energy center itself. They work in tandem, and we won't go into that. But whenever you're healing, you're looking with your eye, and it's a single stream of light, basically. And so you're sending energy to places. And so what I do is you're smiling, and you're just loving your thymus, and you're sending that nice energy there. And you can sometimes start to feel it thump, and that's why they call it the thymus thump, like that post just there, because it starts to thump, and you'll feel this wave go through your body. So we'll save face, and we'll not do this right now, but that's the general thing. So sit there for a while, and you're smiling down to there, and that's real. This is how you heal your liver too.
So it's like right here on
Just,
your left side.
Yeah, just begin to feel it, and you'll feel it start to thump, and that's why it's called the thymus thump. So in Taoism, the Chinese Taoists they smile at their liver to stop any anger, because liver is holding the anger. And all organs actually hold emotions, so it's not like the scientists of the Western world think that the amygdala and so on produce emotions. These are the same nitwits who think that consciousness is coming from the brain, and that's obviously erroneous because it's like looking for consciousness in the brain is like looking for the radio presenter in the radio, right? It's not, the guy's not sitting in the radio, he's somewhere else talking, so it's the same sort of thing. That's a nice Nassim Haramein quote that I stole off him. So look, there's all sorts of little posts here to help you with like certain areas of your body, and we're not going to go into that one.
You do have a lot of information on there. It's like you would have to like stay on there for like freaking month or two just to absorb everything that's there.
Well,
it's a lot.
Well, it's taken years.
It's a lot.
Well, that's the point, and it's a good idea to do it over time, Michelle, because then you stay like focused. You said something about recently a lack of focus. Well, this is why I write things down. And I have to go back, I have to edit it, so it's awesome to make it, It really keeps me focused just being able to make this stuff. And then I forget stuff, and I have to go back over it, obviously. I can't remember everything.
Yeah, but a lot of information, a plethora.
Yeah.
It's good, it's good.
Yeah, right, of course it's good, because it keeps you,
you don't have to go nowhere else to get information.
No, definitely.
You can get information from other sources,
yeah.
It's good to like have so much information on one site, so you don't have to go back and forth. But yeah, I don't just get my information from one source though.
Yeah, I try to. Mainly Consciousazine. Each page is based upon the mirrored continuities of the compressed revolution, which was this 2012 thing. So you may not have heard about the quickening of time. You may not have noticed it. Some people didn't even notice the compression. So, it's all based around the sort of mirrored continuities of the revolution, like sustainable living or health, or, these things kept coming up and bouncing off each other through the compression. So that's what I mean by mirrored continuities. Anyway, there's a nice post on some purifying plants for the home, and they haven't even got aloe vera in there, which is like the #1.
I have a spider.
Pardon?
I have a spider plant and
okay.
Keep on. Yeah, I have quite a few of them.
#4. Nice. Actually, aloe vera is the best one.
Oh, really?
I don't know if you've seen this lady, 70-year-old Annette. She's 70.
Look great.
Anyway, so there's a post here I was just making about the flu. There's obviously a lot of info there about other things. And we know honey, you know, keeps the throat moist, and then Manuka honey has all that extra antibacterial action and all that.
Yeah, raw honey. Yeah.
And what you do is you put it with cinnamon too, by the way. Put your honey with cinnamon.
That's what I forgot at the store today.
Yeah, it's a really good idea, because even the energy, just besides anything else that cinnamon does, even the energy of chromium inside you creates like a barrier. Foods have their own energy, and they seem to create some sort of barrier which, like, certain bacteria and parasites can't, like, enter. It's like a light field or aura that they seem to not be able to live within. It's the vibration's too high and out of phase with them. So once you get really deep into health, you learn this, and it's very true. It's not like, you know, it's not made up. This is so true. I've found this, definitely, because I take a CBD tincture, which is, you know, this main compound in cannabis, the non-psychoactive one, and it's the immunomodulatory part, CBD, and CBD is even in your breast milk, by the way, that you feed to your kids. So, I mean, there's something going on with it. We have a human body, that's everyone's body, has a endocannabinoid system. Now, there's no endoturmeric system or Tulsi system, you know, holy basil, so I just want to stress the importance of that. If cannabis is the only one that has this major system, and, you know, it's being suppressed, the conspiracy surrounding it, etc., something's going on there, right? So anyway, here's just one article. So if you can get your hands on a CBD tincture with coca leaf, like as in cocaine leaf extract, that's actually what I've got, and it's a very upper, and it produces this light inside. I saw it with my eye, and it's the exact same colour as the tincture, light green, and it's like a...
What? Now, what was it?
CBD, cannabidiol 1, or cannabinoid 1, the main, main sort of compound in cannabis, it's CBD and coca tincture. If you can ever get anyone to make that for you, because I heard it's, you know, legal in the States now in some places, so it's not legal here yet, and I'm on it. But, you know, CBD is not illegal, it's THC that's illegal here. So anyway, and THC is that, you know, the part that gives you the stone, you know, the so-called high, and the ripping of the mundane plane and so on, the psychoactive sort of portion. So here's just, like, you know, the obvious stuff: veggie broth, get probiotics in your system. So do you take things like miso, sauerkraut, coconut kefir?
Well, I haven't had no sauerkraut or anything like that, or kimchi, or haven't had any of that lately. But I, you know, like I don't eat meat anymore because I just felt like I didn't need to eat it, and so I don't. And I do try to eat more vegetables. I don't eat any probiotics.
Okay. Well, that's where I would direct you to really start a bit more focus on, and mainly kombucha. If you like coconut kefir, go for it. I don't like it so much. And sauerkraut now and then, kimchi now and then. It's not something I take every day, you know, not even every week. So, you know, you can delve into that. But what I do prefer the most out of all the probiotic, you know, the main probiotics that everyone knows about is really the kombucha. Do you know what kombucha is?
I've seen it in the Whole Foods store.
Okay, so
I was going to get it, but I didn't get it because I really wasn't aware of what it was and if I would like it.
Okay, well, if you like it, that's so good, because I love it, and, you know, I try and drink it almost every couple of days if I can, because I really notice the difference. Now, some people, it's called a SCOBY, and that's an acronym for symbiotic culture of bacteria in something, I don't know. I've forgotten the I and the E, but it's basically a bacteria and fungi culture, and it's super good for your 40 foot of intestinal tract. We have a lot of intestinal tract, and what we're finding out is that the gut actually talks to the brain more than the brain talks to the gut. So this is very interesting. So if you look into it, that's actually what the scientists are all saying. So serotonin, I used to think was produced in the brain. I thought it was a neuroendocrine secretion, but actually it's produced 90% or so in the gut. So you can take,
really?
Yeah, and you can take pumpkin seed oil, because it has L-tryptophan, the precursor of serotonin. So you're putting that directly in your gut. I mean, that's got to be good. It's the precursor for serotonin, so your stomach can do its thing. So these kind of things are probiotic, even though some people don't label that pumpkin seed oil probiotic. I label probiotic as a larger reference moniker, as just something that's good for your biotics. Pro, good for sort of thing, instead of a con, negative.
Right.
Yeah. So definitely, I want to aim you at kombucha, and it slims me too. It has a slimming effect too. Definitely, because you guys do have an epidemic over there of candida. Do you know about candida?
Yeah, candida. Yes.
Well, you've
it's
definitely
a bad bacteria that takes over the good bacteria if you're not feeding your body right.
Yeah, and that's what those probiotics really alter and mediate. That's why you want to do it, because it is serious. And look, you've seen how skinny I am, right? I'm pretty skinny.
Yeah, and it's funny is I've been like this since I was a kid.
Yeah.
Like real big.
Yeah.
Since I was a kid, and I think it is. Well, I'm not gonna say think. I know that you can be healthy and big, but I think I'm a little overweight.
Yeah, no, and I do too, obviously, and because I know a lot about how fat holds toxins, so you can't just say it really does. Now, what I was going to say with the skinny thing is that I've just noticed, my body loses weight and adds weight really easy because of my metabolism. Now, you've got a probably different metabolism. There's two different types, by the way, major types. So, I mean, there's a lot of nuances, and I'm not just saying, because you're big, you're unhealthy. I mean, that's the obvious part, right? There is unhealth to bigness because fat holds toxins. And what you can do, before we move on into this stuff again, what you can do is 5 up to, now be careful with this, up to 500 milligram of niacin a day. Now, niacin's in tablet form, and this is what they're recommending. Be careful with it because it will flush you, and you'll get you could even get a rash as things parasites try and escape, dig deeper into you, and so on when you cleanse. So you always got to be careful when you're cleansing and detoxing. But niacin, which is what, B6 or something, B3 maybe, I forgot. One of the B vitamins, and niacin is largely in tomatoes, and that's the way that I did it to myself. I didn't buy tablets, I didn't have 500 milligram, I didn't need it. And be careful with it because it'll heat you up, you'll get hot skin reaction and everything. If you do the 500 milligrams, you definitely will flush your skin. And what that does is it tickles the toxins from your fat cells. And this is what the leading doctor, I think it's Doctor Who or something his name is, on the Longevity Now conference with David Wolf and all them people, he's recommending that. So just take note of that one. Now, the way I would do it maybe is not take the tablets. You might want to. That's up to you to think about. But what I did for a month or two, I ate so many tomatoes. Because I had free tomatoes at the time, I was working on a farm, so I thought I'd do that strategy, right, while I had it. And this is how the universe talks to me. So you've got to be sensitive, and you might not have to go out and buy the tablet. Just check what the universe throws at you. The more you start to become fifth dimensional, and the more you start to move, the universe will do this to you. It's outlandish ways and just odd ways it will help you, right? So you just got to be sensitive like that. So that's one thing you can do. I'd take note of that, because that one is really the major thing they're pointing at with tickling toxins from fat cells. Now,
I wrote down the 500 milligrams of niacin.
Up to. Be careful though, because that's the high dose. When I was eating a tomato Well, I was eating many tomatoes a day. I wouldn't have even been coming close to like 250. So, I barely got the skin flush going. So it was enough for me though, because I'm quite skinny, and I knew I didn't really need to push hard or something. So just feel it out. Be careful with it. Anyway, let's get back to this one. So when you're treating the flu, obviously warm waters and stuff. I mean, all the home remedies we all pretty much know. Lemon, because it really it flushes the body, and it can put you in an alkaline state too, so you feel better. And it's ultimately hydrating because citric acid is concentrated like hydrogen. So it's super hydrating, lemon and lime. So remember that. It's very super. Hydrogen in German means generator of hydro. So you're already avoiding meat and stuff a bit. See,
what?
You're avoiding meat and stuff a bit, like it said there.
Yeah, I have. I'm sorry.
You're right.
Yeah, it's probably going on 3 years now since I stopped. And actually, it's been that long since I've haven't been sick. When I stopped eating meat, I didn't get sick.
No, that's
so I
fine.
felt like it was working. I felt like it was working for me, so
I didn't eat it. You've definitely noticed a difference. Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. I'd definitely go onto just check out what probiotics you feel good with. But now, it's not about feeling good on probiotics always, because, listen, we've got a lot of parasites in us, and sometimes we're looking at food through their eyes, and believe it or not, they really, really affect us. Some people don't seem to realize that they can get viruses on our brain. There's all sorts of stuff that can happen, and they basically change a cascade of brain chemicals to make you feel good. So you reward yourself with a sweet snack or something. Do you know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah, I do.
This is real.
I tried.
It's real. It's not made up. They really have reins over our body. So, I mean, they really affect us, and, they can even affect our brain chemistry and everything. So you've got to sort of come with your will and your spirit through it. So obviously there's a good little recipe. We don't need to go into that sort of stuff too much. There's lots of things that fight a flu, right? And the main sort of things for me are things like, oleorupia from olive oil. So you get olive leaf extract. I don't know if you've heard of that one.
What is it?
Olive leaf extract. That's super powerful. Because it's concentrated.
No, I actually haven't.
I mean, this is a future medicine for sure. I've read a lot on that. And also oil of oregano. Do you take oregano at all?
No, I don't have oregano. I had it in my queue on Amazon to buy, and I haven't bought it.
What I think you should do is, if you can grow oregano, grow a couple of plants, because it's really the best way I've found is to get it about a handful and just start eating it. It'll totally, make your mouth tingly, because it's antiseptic and anesthetic. So it numbs your mouth like a throat lozenge, so that you don't have to go get a synthetic throat lozenge.
Yeah. I think I'm gonna. I do have a little space out, back where I was gonna create a.
Well, that's just that's my advice, and that's how I use it. You can obviously buy extracts and stuff, but that's the way I like to do it. So that's just how I'm departing it. Now they say avoid store-bought soda and so on, and we know Coca-Cola can actually clean things. But no, I'm not recommending.
Yeah, no, I don't drink. I'm sorry, I gotta put my hair up.
You're right. Here. I wasn't recommending it. I was just making a joke about it. Some people.
No, it's okay. I don't drink soda.
Oh, cool. No,
Every now and then I might drink a Sprite, but I don't buy it.
Some of my friends who are not really into the health stuff, they'll actually drink some Coke sometimes when they get a bit of a sniffle, and it does actually clear them out a bit, but it's not something I'm going to recommend.
No.
So I don't know if you know about the camu camu. I thought it was good.
The what?
The camu camu berry.
No, I know.
Because I thought it was really good they put that in this article because I've heard about it before. And yeah, it has apparently the highest source of vitamin C found in nature in a plant like that. So this berry has approximately 50 times the amount of vitamin C of an orange.
Huh.
So that's a lot. And here's some just quick tips. Blow your nose often. I agree. That's every time I used to get sick, that's what I would do. I'm always blowing my nose, getting it out. Better out than in, because we have a cell-mediated immune system, which is got to do with the thymus as well and releasing leukocytic white blood cells. But we also have a humoral immune system that not many people talk about, and it's called the four humors. Now that's the lymph system, the blood, the phlegm, and the bile. This is part of your immunity. And that's what I call facing the world immunity, not facing the higher dimensions. That your cells kind of are the backdrop which face the higher dimensions, your spiritual connotation. Hey, I want to get better. Your will force and so on, And your mindedness is really part of the cell-mediated immune system. So I call that the higher dimensionally facing immune system. And so this is the humoral immune system is more of the facing into the world. And that's where we pick up all these bacteria and viruses. So it makes sense to look after that humoral immune system. One thing you can do is clear the lymph. If you've got weight like you do, you've definitely got a clogged lymph system. I'm 100% sure of this. Anyone with excess weight has clogged lymph. So there's ways to unclog the lymph and the blood, obviously cholesterol, all that stuff. So we used to think that saturated fat was bad. However, if you start eating a spoonful of coconut oil every day, it's going to actually wash through your veins. It'll actually clear out bad cholesterol, and it's a good saturated fat. It's not something that's going to clog you. So we've learnt a bit more about that in the last few years in science, so to speak. So do you do you like and love coconut oil as much as me?
I do love coconut oil. Yes.
Awesome.
I do. I got probably like I think it's like 3 open jars running around the house. I got one in the bathroom and 2 in the kitchen.
All right.
Because I make a lot of I use it in my hair.
Beauty.
I use toothpaste, make toothpaste.
Nice.
I don't use deodorant.
Mm-hmm. So when you make your toothpaste, what do you do?
I use the coconut oil and baking soda.
Yep.
And I have some tea tree oil.
Oh, nice.
And spearmint, wintergreen oil, and peppermint oil.
Okay. You might try throwing in some myrrh oil.
Oh, some myrrh? Okay.
Yeah.
I've actually put frankincense in it before.
That's also
so I do
good.
have myrrh oil.
Yeah, no, frankincense is also good, but yeah, the myrrh is so powerful. I actually have just a myrrh tincture, and I put like not much in, and my whole mouth goes numb. So.
Okay.
And that was treating the third humour, because we mentioned the lymph, the blood, and that's going to be treating the phlegm. Another thing you can do to treat that humour is actually Amrita and Amaranth meditation, which comes down through your third eye, down to your palate of your tongue from your front teeth. You'll get a certain vibration on your front teeth, and then you're swishing around in your mouth, swishing around, and you get a higher vibration, and it clears your phlegm. Again, parasites can't live in a higher vibration. So it is part of clearing out the humours, vibrational clearing as well.
I'm sorry, I have a habit of interrupting, but do you think that because I think that I'm doing some clearing, do you think that's possibly why I could gotten sick too?
Yeah, definitely can be. Hey, I've known people. I remember, feeling on the edge of it. Now, whenever I get a throat tickle, I go into all my protocols. I start meditating. So I haven't been sick for a long time, but yeah, definitely, I do remember that effect too. See, I'm sort of past that now. And this does happen, and because what happens when you detox, it depends what, obviously. But say it's apple cider vinegar, say it's activated charcoal, diatomaceous earth, zeolite, whatever you're using, it can drive these things away from the substance and deeper into your tissues. And, I mean, they can play havoc, plus when they die, if you've got a lot of a certain parasite and you detox and it dies, well then it releases itself, it dies, it's a carcass there, it's a dead carcass, it releases all its crap, and these things do shit inside us. They're going to the toilet inside you, so it's important to clear all this out. Well, they're not, they're inside us, they're going to the toilet inside you, so... yeah.
You were turning my stomach.
I love saying Mr. Girls.
Thank you.
Love it. I thought this was a cool little bit of advice, just, the extra pillow under your head to stop you choking on your own phlegm and stuff at night so you can get a good rest. Just if, you can't put it there and it's too uncomfortable behind your head, just put it under the mattress for a more gradual slope.
Oh, so yeah, I try to. If I get to a point where I can't stop coughing or something, I'll sit up. I have like these, the back support pillows. I have 2 of those, and I'll probably sit up and fall asleep that way if I can't stop coughing.
Okay. Now, also with bile, certain foods produce better bile conditions. That was the last humour I didn't mention there. So just have a look into what foods go with your blood type that make you feel good, that will help your bile. And I can send you information on that actually after, because I'm interested to delve deeper into that. I've just come across certain foods, but I can't really remember what's for what. And I have to correlate it to, your blood type. So we can do that after this actual talk. I'm happy to do that. So just lastly, have you heard of lipospheric vitamin C?
No.
So it's liposome delivery. So things are delivery systems. When I take my tinctures, the alcohol is a driver. It drives it into my cells. And that's why I don't drink beer or, modern alcoholic beverages. I only take tinctures now. Yeah, I used to drink when I was younger, but not for years.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah,
Hey, just 1 second. I'm going to go get my phone charger.
Okay.
Because it's freezing up. I'm going to go get my... I'll be right back.
No worries. I'll just pause the recording. Okay, so liposomal spherical vesicles are made of a lipid bilayer, at least one lipid layer. And a lipid is basically like a waxy fatty acid. So it'll be wrapped in a kind of oily layer, basically. And you deliver the vitamin C that way. Now, what's that all about? Well, things have like a half-life, like resveratrol, the famous longevity sort of compound in red wine, that resveratrol, phytonutrient, it has a half-life of 4 hours. So if you're taking it in a powder, which I was years ago, it's not actually getting to your cells. And when you take it in the alcohol, it much better drives into your cells, because again, alcohol is the driver that I just mentioned. Now, a delivery system is, for instance, the shamans of the Amazon use a lot of fish oils in their remedies. And that delivers it to the cell because it gets past the stomach then. That's the whole point, it gets through the stomach a bit. Your stomach acid doesn't break it all down, and that's the point of the liposomal delivery, basically. that the vitamin C is really getting driven in, it's making it to your cells and doing its thing. So yeah, that's just so that's just something interesting there. If you want to look into that, lipospherical vitamin C.
Excuse me. I wrote it down.
Cool. Well, it's on the health page.
I'm gonna slide my massage table back a little bit so my phone can start charging.
Okay. So yeah, just this lady here says she got cured overnight basically with this from her flu. So I mean, it's worth a try.
Really?
Yeah, that's this article here. So yeah, interesting.
I definitely will.
Now here's one thing that I think relates to you today. Now I don't mean to, be too offensive. It's just something I've seen.
No, just go ahead.
Yeah, running away from any problem only increases the distance from the solution. The easiest way to escape from the problem is to solve it. I've learnt this the hard way. Now I don't even try run, as much as I can. As much, and you've got to really program your brain to be that way, because we have a lot of cognitive dissonances, which is basically rock brain activity where we won't accept new information. All of us, not just you or me.
Yeah.
But it's just that time. So anyway, that's a cool little page for you to look at later, and that's kind of the starter sort of page. This is one of the first pages I created in Consciousazine. Now this one here, Natural Remedies Guru, I won't go to it right now, but this actually may as well quickly while I'm talking. This one actually takes you over what's in certain foods and, their properties. And this is, I remember, the most famous or the most looked at page in Consciousazine from all the stats that I can see behind the scenes. This was one of the very first pages I created here, and it was the most viewed, I think still probably the most viewed. And it's huge, and it actually connects to other websites that I've made on the bottom here. So,
yeah, I clicked on that one.
Oh yeah, cool.
Yeah, I actually clicked on that one.
Well, there's a lot there.
Yes, a lot. That's one of the ones I realized. I was like, whoa.
Well, this
I could be writing down stuff for days.
Yeah, well, no, so you don't need to, because it's all here, and I'm keeping this up for years to come. So, yeah, it can help to write things down, and you don't want everything off this page, obviously, and you want to take your notes to the shop. But it's here.
Yeah, it helps me to remember things when I read it and write it down at the same time.
Okay. Well, there's another website as well. And yeah, I've found writing things down is very helpful. What else did I want to go to? The thymus oregano oil, teas, honey mix, grounding. Do you do grounding? Oh yeah, that's what I wanted to go to next. Do you do grounding at all?
Like grounding meditations?
Yeah, do you sit on the earth? Do you know what grounding is, like scientifically speaking?
Well, yeah, I do. I sit on the earth, but right now it's too cold outside.
Okay, so yeah, the backbone on the earth is its own thing, but there is a certain spot on the bottom of the foot. It's actually the kidney 1 reflexological meridian point. And it's not the middle of the foot, it's just up near your front toe a bit more. It's actually near that knuckle of the big toe sort of thing. And that's what they are saying is the actual grounding spot, funnily enough. And it makes sense because it's got to do with Jing energy, and the kidneys have got something to do with Jing energy. Just before we move on real quick, 4,000 years of medicine. It started as eat the root, and then it goes through all this stuff, superstition, snake oil, antibiotic. And that antibiotic is poison. Here, eat this root. That's kind of where we've come back to. So I always stress the non-synthetic approach is what that picture's about to me. I always try and, as much as possible, go organic and not synthetic, so to speak. Living foods. Do you eat a lot of raw food? Do you make a smoothie every day, that sort of thing?
I don't make one every day, but I need to start doing it again.
Okay. Do you drink coconut water?
Not as much as I should, but I do drink coconut. I buy coconut milk.
Okay, well, I don't like the milk so much, but the coconut water has a real tonic effect on the stomach. Now, some people say it tastes. My friend says it tastes like dirty root water, and you need to get your taste buds changed, because that's what I was saying before about these parasites having reins over our body. They actually have a little trail that comes up from your stomach, and it goes to the back of your mouth. There's a little thing happening there, and I call it like the reins, like on a horse. Exactly like that analogy. That's how it feels. And I remember I used to walk past sweet things in the shops, which I now walk straight past without getting the same feeling, and they used to sort of turn my head towards it and everything. And you think this is you doing this, but after a while you realise something else is going on there, and they actually have this thing running up all the way up your esophagus. So it's very important to do what I was saying before, all the sort of high vibration meditation on your palate of your tongue, and treating the phlegm humour, which is one of your humours, remember? That's an interesting article there. We'll skip straight past that though, on cannabis. Where am I going for this? Do you smoke cigarettes at all? Or?
No, this is last week was my year of me quitting smoking.
Okay. If you ever have trouble with it, there's a little post on a few things there that can help you anyway. And also you would sit in a sauna, and I was going to recommend that to you at some point in my notes. Do you do any sauna? Infrared sauna is like the latest technology, I hear. But just sitting in a normal sauna, not just an infrared one, it can just be a normal one too, helps you sweat out toxins of all sorts, not just from smoking. So it's just something to keep in mind, because it's one of those things that you'd look straight past and think, oh, what's that going to do? But it really does. It really sweats out toxins. So I know some people in the health world who take it very, very seriously. So I thought it's worth a mention.
Okay.
Again, here's oregano oil being mentioned for anti-parasitical. You've got all these little things in there. They're in there. And turmeric, obviously, is a real powerful one. Do you eat any turmeric?
I'm kind of torn with certain roots, because do you know who Dr. Sebi is?
Yes.
Have you heard of Dr. Sebi?
Heard of him, yes. I've watched a few videos, but not too many.
He has a list of things that he says are non-mucus creating foods, and that's the foods that we should be eating in our body. And he says that turmeric is man-made, and it's not good for our body.
Okay.
I'm kind of torn, because I was eating turmeric.
Well, I think turmeric's one of the best ones out there, and it actually has 3 compounds which are not like CBD to the endocannabinoid system, but similar. These 3 turmeric A, B, and C compounds have their own systematics in our body. Now, it's not the same as the endocannabinoid system, quite as large in scope, sort of thing, but basically it's huge. They have a lot of there's a lot going for it, and these 3 compounds. So I don't know, it's up to you, but I love turmeric. Whenever I find a nice, really orange bit of turmeric, I'm into it. I'll even eat the thing raw. But that's just me. That's how I've been approaching this thing, like a crazy man.
Do I listen to this? Because I obviously want to follow what I'm guided to eat, I guess.
Yes.
What I feel is right. Don't go on what somebody else says, but...
Well, listen, I stopped turning Dr. Sebi's recordings off for a reason, and that's all I want to say. That's my opinion. Hey, you've got your own opinion. Anyway, Wormwood is another one. I don't know if you take that, but at your point there, when you're a bigger person, it's very considerable. Wormwood.
Wormwood. Yeah, I wanted to get it more into some herbs, so yes.
I definitely think it's the way. It's a good way for you to trek. Yeah, for you to trek that way into this post sort of thing. Now, cloves. I actually take cloves. It says take 1 to 2 cloves every day. Now, I take like, I don't know, 10 to 20 and give my parasites a good shock. And it shocks them. And I chew it up real quickly because it makes your mouth again, like oregano oil. It makes it like anesthetic and antiseptic and numb. So I chew it real.
I like to do that with ginger. I like to do that with ginger.
See, I reckon turmeric's better than ginger. And
really?
Yeah, because it has these compounds, and if you look into those compounds, I saw a video once. I can't remember everything about it, but they're like specific compounds for our body. That's what I'm saying. So if Dr. Zebi wants to say they're man-made, that's more of a conspiratorial statement to me than a very, very dialed-in scientific thing that we know these compounds are doing these interactions in the body which are very positive, and it's up there for me.
I think
anyone talking against turmeric, anyone talking against turmeric for me, like, has their video shut off, basically. Well, that's just my opinion again, but I'm sure a lot of people will agree. Turmeric's up there.
I'm noticing that the followers are mainly African American, and a lot of them are so dead set against the Caucasians.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think I like that.
That's unbalanced. That's right.
It's very. I don't like it.
That's right.
I tend to not pay attention to that. I don't like it.
Okay. So here's what I've been really focusing on: cloves, turmeric, and the oregano. Now it says carrots, it says lemon, raw coconut munching, all this stuff. They're just the ones I've been focusing on because they're so powerful. And I like something.
I love coconut.
It's just because of their power, though, these ones. And whenever something's powerful, I realise something that David Wolfe once said about who cares about herb 1159.2, Unless you need to target something that herb specifically treats, you basically want to stick to the top 10, the top 20 superfoods. And that's what I mean. Turmeric is up there. Oregano oil is up there. Cloves, they're efficacious. They treat. Efficacious means they're really efficient at what they do. Lemon and stuff, these are all sort of back things for me. Castor oil, lemon seeds, yes, they're pretty good. They've got probably cyanide even in them, and they've got all these things like that kill parasites. It's like apple seeds. And whenever you eat it, get in the habit of when you're eating a fruit, eat the thing whole. Most of them we can eat whole. Like the apple, I eat as seeds. Why not? It's because nature has balanced it. It's put it in there for you. And we know this because the epitome of this is the lemon. Why? Because the lemon has this anti-cancerous white part, the bioflavonols under the surface of the lemon zest on the outside. And that's anti-cancer. And then, why is that there? Well, because the main part of the lemon's like fructosey, sugary lemon juice, and the body part of it, and that actually is a sugar, and so that enhances candida in a way. And all the sugars are things that these parasites live on. So if you're just going to squeeze lemon in your water every day, every time, you'll have alkalizing effect and all this, but I always recommend eating the lemon whole because then the seeds are actually anti-parasitical. So the whole lemon is like the epitome of this idea I'm trying to get across to you, that nature has really been out there for millions of years perfecting all this, and man has been in a laboratory for decades only. I always say this.
Right.
Pomegranate juice is obviously really good. That's another strong one. Whenever I find it at the health shop, if it's quality juice.
I love to eat the pomegranate seeds. I love it.
Well, that's good. There you go. So they're saying that it's see, these are probiotic. This is what I even call probiotic, right? So this isn't what most people call probiotic or prebiotic. I've taken the definition and widened it just to be anything that's good for your biotica, to keep the balance. Okay, so that's just my definition. I'm about to create a whole movie on that, so you'll get to see that soon anyway. Papaya seeds. Now, like I said in my last consultation, what we do around here is we take the papaya or pawpaw seeds as well, and you use them as your pepper. You just dry them, and they're the actual. Yeah, they're pepper. Like you don't need to buy pepper ever again. This is your pepper. It's free. So if you have a pawpaw tree, you get out of the leaves 50 amino acids. You get out of the fruit protease enzyme, which totally helps your skin tighten. Enzymes are involved in processes in the body like lysis, which is like apoptosis, which is cleaning up the cells, or just cleaning. And they do things. They have all these actions in the body, the enzymes. They're like little workers. So papaya is a really good one to get into. Now the leaf is real hard to eat because it's really bitter. Yeah, I'll munch it whenever I can though. Even just on the side of the road when I'm going surfing sometimes, people grow it around here and I'll stop and I'll pull a bit off and eat it. It's medicine. It's not meant to always taste good. So, garlic obviously. See, when they say buttermilks and stuff, I avoid all the buttermilk sort of stuff. However, yogurts actually fight viruses. Now, what you want to do is not get a yogurt that has any sugar in it. You're looking for things like the one I always recommend is, just because it's at the supermarket and everyone can get it, is Jalna. And Jalna, biodynamic as the flavour. Now, biodynamic's created by Rudolf Steiner. We won't go into it. It's basically the best gardening method you can do, and it's insertion of frequencies and everything into the soil, not just good soil cheese. So, biodynamic yogurts, which have multicultural yogurt cultures, like Acidophilus bifidus is one, then you have Cassii as another. So look for multiple strains of yogurt cultures in the one yogurt if you can. Otherwise, just looking for biodynamic as the flavour, so a sugarless yogurt. And that will actually spread around your body and fight not just candida infections, but and parasites like they're saying here, and fungal growths, but viruses. I thought, wow, that's amazing.
Yeah, so pretty much a plain yogurt.
Yeah, but biodynamic as the actual flavour, not just plain. You want actual, go for the good stuff. Biodynamic, just if you can find it, you might not be able to. I don't know. I don't live in America. I don't know what it's like over there at all. It's just something. It's just something I recommend because it's here in every supermarket and it's just easy for everyone to get to. So just looking for biodynamic multicultural yogurts, and they're actually pretty good. Now, it's said for healthy teeth, the last thing on the outside of the teeth is a biofilm, and I actually recommend this Jalna biodynamic yogurt as mouthwash. As the last thing, after oils, after everything you do, I've noticed a super cleansing effect from it, and the healthiest people in the world, their teeth have a biofilm over it. So it makes sense, because that's what these things are. They're little probiotic things. They're bio, and they create biofilms throughout a body and protect against viral infection and so on. And it said that you need one product like this a day is what I've heard some experts say. So one good yogurt, or one coconut kefir, or one kombucha, one thing like this per day out of all those sort of things. Okay? Now when it says here rice vinegar, yeah, that's alright. But apple cider vinegar, are you into apple cider vinegar?
I can't see. I don't know what I did, but I can no longer see what you're showing me.
I hope I'm still sharing. Let me check.
You probably are, but I did something when I was moving my phone.
Okay, I'm just going to make sure I'm still... No, I think it's the... Can you say me now?
No.
Yeah, I have to every time restart the call. Oh, I hope it's... I'm just going to take 1 minute to do that. Okay, so sorry, after the first time I share the screen and go back, it seems to stop it. So
my phone might die.
Well, I'm hoping that I'm hoping the screen was working so that after you can watch this video. I'm pretty sure it will be like that, because the whole screen's recording anyway. So it doesn't matter if Skype was working or not. It'll be there for you anyway. Now it says something about royal jelly there, but again, it's like on the milky, the sticky, the sugary side, and that's what you're trying to avoid where you are in your movement in health. You're trying to avoid all the milky stuff, in my opinion. You don't need, extra fats and stuff. That's what I need more of, actually. I actually need a bit more of that at my stage I've just gone through, and we're not going to talk about that. For instance, turmeric has effective as 14 drugs here. Yeah, the curcumin is really a miracle in there. If you don't know about curcumin, it's look at this, 5,600 peer-reviewed and published biomedical studies against Dr. Zebi saying one sentence. So that's that's just the way I look at things. Anyway, so avoid maybe the royal jelly, but the propolis. Do you know about propolis?
No.
Okay, so the propolis is what they feed the queen bee, and that's why she pumps out 1,000 eggs a day or whatever, because she's super fertile. So in longevity, we don't just want to live for a long time suffering, we want to live vitality is important too. We want to live a vital life. And so propolis is actually good for skin infections and stuff. You can drop it straight on skin things, abrasions, whatever. And it's got antibacterial, etc. properties, and it's quite strong. Now, propolis is what they feed the the queen bee, yet she has the same genetics as the other bees. So she grows somehow much larger and much more fertile. So there's something going on there. Now, you talk to any Chinaman who's in a medicinal mindset, propolis is like in their top 5. It's like one of the #1 longevity substances in the world. And indeed, I've been taking a tincture recently in the last 6 months to a year, and I noticed the difference. Definitely energy-wise and happy-wise, all of that. It's pretty good. It's got a few different features, like just even making you happier. And I think there's some sort of anti-parasitical action, but I haven't nailed it down, and I'm not sure science has either, because there's an anti-cancerous property of raw honey that they haven't nailed down yet either, by the way. So this propolis is also good for oral health as well. So say you have lesions in your mouth or something like that, then this is a good idea, as well as oils and stuff, but this is a really good idea at that point. Okay? Bacteria side.
Can you still see me?
If I put my Skype up, no. That's okay. So there you go, 5,600 peer-reviewed articles on turmeric. Have a look at this post, I think.
Oh, yes, most definitely.
Yeah, curcumin is great for de-inflammation, and definitely when you're a bigger person, you've got a lot of inflammation going on. And when you look into science and you start reading peer-reviewed articles, you always see the word inflammation come up. Some people say that all the diseases, all our modern stuff is connected to inflammation. So you can look into that deeper if you want, but I keep seeing it pop up everywhere. So I'm tending to agree with the people who say that everything is connected to inflammation. Now, this has to do with meditation as well. When we meditate, we decrease inflammation so much. And there's plenty of meditations on the meditation page. And that's something I use in conjunction with eating. I just made a video last night, Amalgamam Maximum Novelty Health 6, where in the end I talked about psychosomatics, or the soul-minded nature of our body, and the connection. And I think it needs to be used in conjunction, meditation, with what you're eating. Because here we're basically treating the second dimensional body, the physical end of things, with all this stuff that we're eating, which is important because that's where you've got to live in. But I really think psychosomatics play a large role, and we're about to go into that a bit more, because I saw a few posts of yours when I went down your page, and I saw a nice quote. You actually put up a picture that Eckhart Tolle wrote, which I thought was cool. So I think we might go back into that and then come back to this post here. Where is it? What's this? See, here's another anti-parasitical post. And I really do think you should focus on this sort of area with yourself now, not just quitting meat. I think you really need to focus on parasitical viewpoint. Because, look, see, for instance, this is what they're saying. Parasites can infect your lungs, liver, heart, brain, spinal cord, blood, pancreas, skin, eyes, kidneys, uterus. That's what I was trying to say. They really get into you, and it's not just like they're a little worm sitting in your intestinal tract. See, that's what most people think when you say the word parasite. Most people, that's where they're up to. They think, oh, you're talking about worms or something, right? But I'm telling you, there's all these, we've found even viruses on the brain, like the thing I said about the connection that candidas and stomach parasites have to, and these are yeasts, they're funguses. I'll just label it as a parasite. All these little parasites in the stomach, they have this cord going up to the back of your phlegm in your mouth, and they'll actually regulate what you want to eat and your brain chemistry and everything. So it runs deep, even to the pancreas, which is part of your immunal humour, bile. So the bile humour that we mentioned before. So it is all important. Black walnut is another one we didn't see mentioned anywhere, which I think actually is one of the top ones, and especially if you can get a tincture. Pumpkin seed there, like I said before.
Yeah, I love pumpkin seeds.
And as we mentioned before, the oil has actually got precursor to serotonin, and serotonin is known as the happy molecule. Neem, definitely neem, if you can get neem oils. I did a segment on that the other day in a video. That's up there as well. See how I'm not mentioning just everything? I'm not even mentioning all these others, So, oh look, olive leaves come up again. The actual olive leaf extract is the go. Just you may as well get it in the most concentrated form. So there's just another little post, and it's got a few types of parasites there. Yeah, okay, we're going to come back to this post. I just wanted to go over this post that I was making about these four things: hormones, oxygen, phytonutrients, and enzymes. But first, so every single post I saw for like a year down your page was like, there was not every single one, but there was a lot that were like, to my eye, insecurity based. Now you may or may not admit it. Largely, in my opinion, and we all have them, they're subconscious, and it does have a lot to do with somatics and psychosomatics of the body and the soul mind, or your energy chakra systems. So I don't know, it was just a trend I saw. I'm very good at seeing trends. I can even do stock market trends. So I'm really good at pattern matching. So it's just something I saw. Yeah, and the good stuff, like I mentioned here, you seem to be on the right track in the mindset with fooding. I saw you even wanted a NutriBullet, so great. I mean, just keep checking, keep going. It's all a transition. There's a good guy who actually talks a lot about transition that I always recommend to people called Dr. Kazar. And he actually talks a lot about parasites. So actually, I want to send you directly to him, because he has a lot of videos. He's in Hawaii. You could even go visit him if you wanted. He talks a lot about saunas. He talks...
Yeah, I want to go to Hawaii.
Well, he just talks about like the whole deal that I've been mentioning. A lot of parasites. He even has some things in the sauna. So he's on that end of stuff really in depth. So I'd really want you to go to Dr. Kazar when you're looking on the screen after, or I can just pop it here. He has a ton of videos. And they're really in depth, especially on the parasite end of things and superfoods. And he inspires me a bit too. So now the Eckhart Tolle picture, I'm going to explain it. So, and I don't know if you'll remember it. I could send it to you, but you'll be able to see the screen after anyway. So it says, Eckhart Tolle is quoting here, "See if you can catch yourself complaining." I like that, because it's about the observer observing yourself, right? And creating, it's bringing the subconscious to consciousness. It's bringing the underneath to the forefront in your mind, you know? So let's read it. "See if you can catch yourself complaining." So it gives you the challenge, it's good. "In either speech or thought about a situation you find yourself in, what other people do or say, your surroundings, your life situation, even the weather. To complain is always non-acceptance of what is. Definitely. It invariably carries an unconscious negative charge. When you complain, you make yourself a victim, leave the situation or accept it. All else is madness." Eckhart Tolle. So, I wanted to just explain that a little bit. One of the main things he mentions here, besides its non-acceptance, he says something very interesting to me. He says, it invariably carries an unconscious negative charge. Now what's that all about? Here's how I'll explain it. Let me take a drink. Just having a breathe.
How is that? Are those notes?
Yeah. Well, the negative charge you are producing for yourself. So, negative charge, what's that all about? The past is negatively charged space. There's no creation happening in it. It's finished. It's gone, right? It's back there. It's there, like as a plane for you to make positive creation pop out of. So you have to turn the eye. So you have to turn your third eye into the future. You can roll the eye. When you're looking through your physical eyes, by the way, you're always looking in the past too. When you're looking in the mind sight eye, you're looking futuristically and in the now. Into future for the uprising of energies. So you have to turn your eye into the future for the uprising of energies for positive creation. There's some imaginative expectation which is required here to stop the infinite coaxial spin in the flux. There is also always a gap of what is and what will be to surmise. So the support for uprising of energies can come from this imaginative expectation, just as in telepathy. Even if it doesn't happen exactly as you wished, what I have found when you charge the space this way, more often than not, usually every time, something better occurs than what you originally imagined. That's how good it happens. That's what I've found. So the negative charge explicated herein is not the same as the negative reanionization or earthing / grounding, that of gaining a negative electrical charge, and we can talk about that in a second too. Herein I was discussing a symbolic negative charge, as spiritual reality is symbolic, not pragmatic. However, the charge can be felt in a spiritual light body sense, When you start creating positive creation, you feel it. Immense amount of upliftment, right? It's like a levity feeling, the opposite of gravity, and a sign of spiritual advancement. It's a type of positive charge you get. Now, these are not the positive and negative ions that we're talking about. It's symbolic spiritual reality. So, what is grounding and reanionization? Well, there's two types of ions, and one is an anion, and the other is a cation, or cation. A cation is what the atmosphere has a lot of, positrons. Over positrons, not as much negative electrons. When we're walking around every day, we've got this major cause of aging, and that major cause of aging is this oxidative stress theory and why we're taking antioxidants. That's why they've become so big in the health movement, antioxidant this, antioxidant that, because we're trying to stop the oxidization of the atmosphere, which is rusting us, basically. When we get a negative charge on the ground, we're reanionizing. Anions have more negative electrons than positive positrons. So, when we're negatively reanionizing, we're pushing off the positive charges, the positive ions, the positrons from our body. And that's the major antioxidative way, I think. Of course take blueberries, of course take cacao for the antioxidants, and coffee now and then. You've got to be careful with coffee. But in my opinion, grounding is ultimately important for the antioxidation. I've explained it more in other videos as well. There's actually grounding technology now, where you can get a bed sheet that's grounded. And it's negatively charged. Pretty cool. You can see that the Mother or Earth is trying to get ready for space. Send us out into space. So there's a secret to the ego, and why have I got that here? Well, we always face ego problems, and insecurities and stuff are weaknesses of the ego. So I just thought I'd throw this in. People watching this as well are going to benefit. Like I said, I'll continue helping you after this actual talk too, just with more physical stuff, like we said. There's a secret that the ego doesn't want you to know. It's the key of feeling happy, purposeful, fulfilled, and inspired. The ego wants you to think you have to constantly chase after things outside of yourself.
Mm-hmm.
The ego wants you to think that a joyful state of being is hard to attain, complicated, and fleeting. But I know the truth, and I want to share it with you right now. The secret to feeling happy, purposeful, fulfilled, and inspired is true loving yourself. Not wallowing in if, but, maybe, insecurity, and etc. Focusing on what you do have, and where you are going, and what you are doing right a bit more, Well, yes, but let's disambiguate that a bit more. The ego says, and this is a quote I didn't make up, the ego says, once everything falls into place, then I will feel peace. However, Spirit says, find your peace, then everything will fall into place. And I struggled against that for a while, and in the end, I definitely feel that's true. So sometimes, great quotes like this need expanding, I feel. So what does it involve finding one's peace? In my opinion, one second. Well, to me, mainly and namely, this is about being yourself, and no matter what the costs are, there's always antagonistic forces, people, situations to this, and they put those challenges and so on. Namely to me, it's about being yourself no matter what. The costs may sometimes even seem severe, but remember, when things are falling apart, something else can fall into place. So when something's falling apart, you just got to consider that something better can now fall into place. because that's been removed. So you may have entire worlds fall away. Entire worlds may even include closest family members, best friends, housing, location, all of this. These may all be negatively charged space where no creation is happening anymore. That's the key way I look at it. That's how you tell how much creation is occurring. Is it stagnation? So still don't understand? Well, it's simple to discern stagnation from energetic movement. In the latter, energetic movement and upliftment spiritually, it's a sudden true feeling and overwhelming feeling of charge, that symbolic charge of yourself and the light body charge. Positive creation begins, and you start seeing it in your life. You get exciting tickles and the ebullient spark of life and movement, so you can tell between stagnation and movement. And that's how I tell if something, is holding me back. This is all pretty basic, obviously, but it's good to run back over it. And this is about becoming conscious and putting that in your brain neurology so you've got access to it tomorrow very consciously, very easily. If we leave everything subconscious, life's a lot harder, and it appears to be a lot harder. Carl Jung said, coming to consciousness basically can be painful, to paraphrase Carl Jung, one of the great psychologists.
Mm-hmm.
So, there's stages of enlightenment I always talk about. Rumi, the great poet Rumi, he said, the wound is where the light enters. And I always like to correlate that with what Carl Jung said, and then how I say there's stages to enlightenment. One is, well, let's go through the whole lot in conjunction with what they've said there. Coming to consciousness can be painful, and by Carl Jung, and by Rumi, the wound is where the light enters. Now there's stages to enlightenment, and it's admittance. You've got to admit it first, otherwise you can't go anywhere. Admittance, then awakening to it, which is sometimes going back over admitting it. Then catharsis, real catharsis will take place. You've got to change things. And there's that transmutation comes from that. Then transcendence can occur. You've kind of cleared the dense stuff out of the way, and you can transcend it, really transcend it. It's kind of a mind over matter notion. Then comes double enlightenment phases, and you're sort of in the enlightenment. So that's basically how enlightenment works, in these stages.
Mm-hmm.
So there's always going to be catharsis. There's always going to be a sort of troubling part there. There's always stuff to move through. Otherwise, what's the point of living? The only constant is change. So now, I'd really like to also just quickly talk about purpose. Because why? Well, because purpose in my life, like doing this, helping you, helping other people, I found a lot of purpose in doing this. It seems to be a sort of natural affinity I have. So that's kind of what purpose has to do with, something that you're naturally good at, right? And you said you work as a supervisor for a corporate job. Now,
Not for a corporate job, but...
Hey?
I said it's not corporate.
Oh, okay, it's not. Well, that's what I thought you meant. So, well, what's your supervisor role?
I have like 12 security officers that I supervise, that I make up their schedule every week.
Okay.
So.
Well, does that feel like your purpose?
No.
Yeah, well, that's what I mean. No. You can tell the difference, I don't have to, lecture you on it. But I'll just say, as you move through your journey of awakening and so on, and transmutation and all that, try to notice what makes you not just feel good. Actually, here's a really good picture for that. Where's the... Yeah, no, there's a super good picture for this. There's a Japanese word that goes perfectly with this. I posted it recently to the Consciousazine page. Where is it? It'll be in the pictures here. Pop up after pop up. Oh. Okay, if we just go into the photos here. It's called Ikakagi or something. Yeah, here it is. Awesome picture for what I was just saying about purpose. Can you see that?
No, I can see half of it.
Half of it. Okay. How come you can only see half of it?
Probably because I got my phone on the side because I'm charging my phone.
Alright, well it'll be on the screen anyway.
Yeah.
So it's called Ikigai. Ikagai, or I don't know how to pronounce it. It's a Japanese concept meaning a reason for being. Everyone, according to the Japanese, has an Ikagai. Finding it requires a deep and often lengthy search for the self. Now, I really think meditation is the best thing for that. Not just looking in your outer world, what makes you happy and stuff, and then according to this picture, but meditation, looking inside, inward, onward and upward, and, you know, trying to feel yourself out that way. So I thought the diagram was really a good way to put this across. You know, a picture speaks 1,000 words. So I hope you can see the diagram, but it's basically centered on profession, vocation, mission, and passion. So not just passion.
Yeah, I see the right side of it. I actually see the right side of it, what you was just talking about.
So you can see the text.
Yeah, I can see the text. Okay. I actually saw that picture on the page.
Yeah. So yeah, it's a good one, right? Because it's not just passion and what makes you feel good. A lot of people say, you know, your purpose is what makes you feel good. And I say, no. Every time I say, no, it's not that simple. That's why I love complex diagrams like this, because life is complex. Now, that's got to do with the airhead thing. I call it being an airhead, and we have a lot of these hippies in Australia like this, especially around the area I live. So I've been shown this, and I'm definitely going to take this into the world and keep telling it to people. It's not just, life's not just about being happy. Notice that the wound is where the light enters. You know, so life's not just about being happy. Yeah, once you slide on into that sort of path of synchronicity and so on, and your purpose and all that, you do feel happier and happier. But it's not just about targeting happiness, is what I'm saying. Because we have to be functional, and all these people have disappeared into mountains here, become apathetical, which means, you know, indifferent, and, you know, it's just not been so good in that way from what I've seen. So yeah, anyway, I'm going to
basically talking about how everybody focuses just focusing on the light.
Yeah, this sort. Can you see me again?
I can see you.
Okay. Yeah, I'll just...
I don't know. Can you see me?
No, but I'll just stop sharing the screen.
Let me see.
So, yeah, basically that people, yeah, it creates a kind of apathy and indifference, and I don't know, it really pisses me off, but because I think it hinders our whole movement, our whole collective...
Yeah, you can see me now.
Yeah.
Yep. No.
Yeah, you're coming on. So I just think it hinders our collective movement to be that airhead, I call it, you know, because it's unbalanced. Because the people on the right, the very dense, the very social, the very, you know what I mean, sleepwalker people, all that, the unspiritual,
right.
etc. All those monikers we throw at those people. Those people are so far away from these people, which are, you know, the ultra hippie and not just that, but like the airhead ones. You know, that's the main moniker I want to put them under there, or stereotype, the sort of idea of apathy and airheadedness and, you know, just be happy, sort of that simple ideal.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm not saying don't be happy, But yeah, there's this sort of discernment I think we need as well. Anyway, so there's a few things that I thought were relevant. There's one more post that I wanted to share with you on the hormones, oxygen, phytonutrients and enzymes. But in the meantime, I don't know, did you want to say anything? Like, did you want to, we can just talk for a bit like this, or?
No, I'm actually just I'm really not feeling real great right now.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm just going into a coughing fit any minute, so.
That's alright, don't worry about it. We've all been there, you feel like crap, I know. Yeah, what can you do? Just rest up, you know, get some rest. It's horrible being there. I don't mean to laugh at you, but yeah, I hate that feeling.
No, it's okay.
Sucks.
It's okay.
Well, I don't know, what else can I ask you?
I know you got something deep in there.
I'm just thinking, because I wanted to take you over that post and a lot of eating stuff and all that, but, you know, we covered a bit of spiritual side of things. Yeah, I think you have the propensity to become a sage. So some people have different archetypes and all this, you know. You're a bit of a human angel and that stuff, but I think you have some sort of sage about you, and definitely your profile picture made me clue on to that as well. You know, people put up these profile pictures and then, you know, those people, they say, oh, look at that, they're being silly, but no, there's something in it. All these resonances.
You're talking about the one I have up now?
Yeah, of the thing wrapped around you, it's like a sage becoming or something, and it's truly like, when I saw that, it really snapped in, because I'm always looking to see who someone else is. It's very important to see who everyone is, because we all need to communicate to get this new world happening. We all need to know who everyone is, because there's going to be structure. It's not just going to be like everyone seems to think we're all on this mutual plane. Yes, there's that in a fifth dimensional sense, and we're not going to go into all that, but we need to know who everyone is for their specific roles and etc. In my opinion, it's very important.
So when you say sage, you're meaning, I mean, sage means like a writer's type, right?
A sage is
deeper.
So a sage, yeah. So a sage is to me like Lutzoa. Do you know Lutzoa? I think his name was one of the famous like Taoist sage. He'd walk in a big overcloth thing. He'd write stuff, great quotes for everyone to remember, like Eckhart Tolle's there and so on. You know, that's sagey energy, yeah. So then you have Yoda, right? What's Yoda? He's like besides being a Jedi, he's like a medicine man-y sort of type.
I think I'm a little bit of everything. I think I'm a little bit of everything type.
Yeah, no, we're definitely at the end of history here where we are. Because I don't know if you know about Terence McKenna's Time Wave Zero and how he shows like a context of time, and basically we're what I call out of the box of history into maximum novelty domain, which means we've got it all. It's all happening, and
at the same time.
Yeah, and that we're unstuck from certain grids. And I've made a word myself called amalgaman, which I think I embody, which means stepping across grids. So there's a grid of a medicine man, there's a grid of a sage, you know, there's a grid of an angel. Do you know what I mean? Like these archetypes. Yeah, they're kind of like archetypes.
Yeah.
Now, what were you going to say?
I do believe that I'm all of that. I feel that, which exactly what you just said. Like everything that you just said.
Well, I can see it. I can see it, and there's little scintillations, which means you're becoming it. So if there was I can tell the difference between if someone has been it and is becoming less of that and transitioning like to unbecoming in their life, or if they're from like an unbecoming to a becoming state, and you're in a becoming state of those things. So I'm saying it's not like I'm seeing you from a past life as a sage on you. That's not what's happening here. What's happening here is what you're becoming is what I'm saying, okay? So there is a difference in my opinion, and that's Akashic reading, known as Akashic seeing. And I do that like naturally. For instance, for me, I was a shaman in a past life in a jungle. I had a vision. And I actually got the mask on the Spirit World page, and I was Incan. And we were...
Can you see mine? I don't know if you can see it.
Is that it on the wall?
There's a mask I made after a shamanic breath work I done. It reminded me of
Interesting.
I don't know. It's weird. I'll get closer to it so you can see what it looks like. But anyway,
that's just confirmation of my sight. Excellent.
I'll get closer to it. Let
Please
you see
do.
what it looks like.
Oh, hold it there for 1 second. A bit to the other way.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Just hold it there for a second. Interesting. Okay. Okay. Yeah, that's interesting, hey? What does that feel like? What's your background? Are you African American?
Oh yeah, African American and white. My mother, I believe there's some. Excuse me. I believe there's other things that's in my blood, but my mother was white, my father was black.
Okay.
But I did a DNA and there's other things that's in it.
Is there any Polynesian or anything? No, I'm just wondering.
You know, I had a Polynesian past lifetime.
Well, that's why I saw that in the mask.
Yeah, and I'm not going to say who I think, or who I've been thinking of, but yeah.
Well, that's why I said it, because I saw it in the mask.
Really?
So that makes me feel good that I can see. Good, I still got it. Yeah, that's interesting, because I got that energy in there, and so one thing I would direct you to then is sweet potato.
I looked at some sweet potatoes today at the store and I just walked right on past it.
Do you like sweet potato?
I love it. Yes.
You do like it, okay.
Yes.
So if you're to put sweet potato in your smoothie, it's something you would only do raw once a month, once every 2 months, but once a month sort of tops-ish. You wouldn't do it too often. Or you could go more 1 month here and there. It's not going to kill you. But there's something in there that there's a binding thing in there that you need to undo with heat. I forgot the specifics of it, but basically you don't want to have it too often raw. Okay. I love sweet potato, but sweet potato is also good for new cell growth, which I thought was amazing. Now also sweet potato resists genetic modification. So I mean, all the stuff about sweet potato that I've learnt over about 5-year period, those 3 pieces came together in about a 5-year period. The cell growth one is the first thing I learnt about it, and that was part of my change. That was part of my facilitation during the timeline awakening around the eschaton 2012. So don't forget that one for new cell growth. It's a good one for new cell growth.
I'm writing it down.
Which I thought was amazing. I thought the old humble sweet potato? Really? So yeah, there you go. So yeah, obviously you could cook that with tomato. I don't know, that was one thing I used to do. and that was one way I got the lycopene, the red pigment or antioxidant in tomato and capsicum. Lycopene needs to be heated to about 65 degrees for it to be fully the best absorbable. The best way to absorb it is to heat the tomato and the capsicum up to 65 degrees. And if you heat it beyond that, it can start to destroy it too. So, and that's a powerful antioxidant for the heart and cardiovascular health. So that's yeah, the red pigment, and that's going to help what in conjunction with the coconut oil. See, all these things. This is why Hippocrates said, "Make your food your medicine, and let thy medicine be thy food." Not, you eat and then you have your medicine over here. It's actually make your medicine your food. And this is how it starts to work. And the more, that's why it feels inspiring to me to find this stuff out, because then you realize, I don't have to be on that pharmaceutical. I don't have to get that supplement every day, because this is a medicine, that's a medicine, this is how it works, And that keeps me inspired to eat normal food and see it as medicine. Like that tomato is a normal food. But we've just discovered it can help you tickle toxins out of your fat. It can be cardiovascular health and clear your veins. And one of the second most, the cause of death in the world is cardiovascular disease and heart failure and heart disease. So, it is important, and then that makes it a medicine. Say, I can get sued for saying this right now, but I don't care, because that's an obvious thing. I don't care. They can try, because I'll just live. I'll live in the jungle. Don't worry. It'll just push me to a new ontos. I'm not. When you fear, you're lost already. Is a quote I like. As soon as you fear, you've already lost. So we're not going to create the new world with fearing the old world. That's for sure. Right. So yeah, that's a strategy to go alongside healing your veins and your cardiovascular system. The tomato, and it's also going to do the toxin tickling from the fat. So it's a normal food being a medicine, in my opinion. What else could we cover? Would you like to go to that post and have a look at that post at all? The one on hormones, oxygen, phytonutrients, and enzymes. Because I think they're like basically the four most important sort of things, to get a grasp over in a general sense, like some of the most important ways to view your health. And we'll see why. Because hormones, for instance, can you see my screen?
Yeah.
So there's a little picture on magnesium just as a side thing. It's also a detox if you take it in chloride form. I've actually got glycinide and chloride in one of my, and malate, I think.
Do you care if I go get some water?
No, you're right. I'll pause the tape. Just
lay down.
Just let me know when you're ready.
Oh, yes, I'm ready. I'm sorry.
Okay. Oh, that's okay. So yeah, this kind of hinges on raw and cooked food. That's why this is a sort of very important overview. That's why I was saying for our focus in general, in making food our medicine, in healing, in transitioning, etc. This is really a large, a large focus.
Okay.
So why? Because, well, as there's posts on other pages showing, for instance, that they're plugging in charging iPhones from an orange. The humble orange is giving off a life force that they can charge an iPod with. You can YouTube it. Believe it or not. You can YouTube that, or it's on the Natural Nutritional Warriors page. But basically, food has life force, and we're not just really talking about chi here, we're talking electrically. And, I mean, our bodies need electric conduction for our cells to communicate, and that's why charge is important. Charge not in the sense of positrons and negative electrons, like we were talking about before, but the charge of Himalaya salt. It makes a charged state inside you where your cells seem to buzz more and communicate better and fight off infection better. It brings a charge of life. That's why I put magnesium here as well, because magnesium is said to be the spark of life mineral. If we look up quickly on Google Images, which we will do, because I don't know where I put the picture, magnesium, spark of life, we can see the picture I'm basically talking about. Yep, there it is. Have you seen this picture before?
Which one?
Which one?
The one that says mineral. I feel like I can only
see.
Magnesium?
Half.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Okay. Well, you'll see it all after. The essential forgotten mineral, magnesium, and this is why I call it spark of life, because it's kind of known as that mineral, just like serotonin is the happy molecule, anandamide is the bliss molecule, and dopamine, you know, and so on. So this is, for me, the spark of life sort of mineral. Now, the difference between plant chlorophyll and your blood is magnesium and iron. So when you take chlorella, the difference between, and that's the highest food in chlorophyll, it's got something like 12% or something like that, or 8% or something, it's huge. The best wheatgrass you've ever eaten is like 0.2% chlorophyll. And chlorella has a huge amount of chlorophyll, the most out of any food. What we've found is that the difference between plant chlorophyll and the human hemoglobin, the red blood cell, is magnesium at the center of the chlorophyll, and the only difference to our blood is we have iron at the center, as an atom in the center of the molecule. So that's very interesting, eh? So yeah, magnesium, spark of life. So, you know, food's highest in magnesium. Things like proper cacao, it's got cocoa here, so they've definitely written that wrong. Cocoa is pasteurized, homogenized, crapped up cacao. So if you don't eat cacao, I recommend you get on that, because it's like in the top 5 foods of longevity in the world. That's what chocolate's made out of, cacao, which they then pasteurize and heat up to cocoa. Cocoa is no good. It's cacao with the C-A-C-A-O, so spelt the opposite way. And you can get that from the health shop, Happy High Herbs, stuff like that. Check it out. I love it. Crude rice bran, Swiss chard. Yep, I know Swiss chard has a huge amount of magnesium. Purslane as well, which I think is actually bacopa or brahmi herb. Spinach, obviously. Cacao, not cocoa. Almonds, and coffee as well. And so that would be cold pressed coffees, like there's a cold pressed coffee over here called Crave with a little koala on it. Look for good products like that, cold pressed coffees. So, for instance, refined grains remove 80 to 90% of the magnesium, and that's what I'm saying about the cocoa powder. That's no good. It's cacao that you want to go for. Anyway, so apparently magnesium deficiency is another factor towards cancer, is the way I would say it, not cause cancer. Researchers found that 46% of patients admitted to an intensive care unit in a tertiary cancer center presented as deficient in magnesium. So half of them had magnesium deficiency, so they're correlating it to cancer. So there's some correlation. You wouldn't say it causes it, though. Anyway, in Egypt, the cancer rate was only about 10% of that in Europe and America. These cancer-free populations have an extremely high magnesium intake, they opinionate. So yeah, it's just known as the spark of life, and it really helps you sleep better. So if you've got any sleep apnea, it'll definitely help that. It's like it stops shorting out of your brain. Same with dopamine. So if you take more L-Dopa, which is in Mucuna pruriens, let's type that up. I'll type that up for you. Mucuna pruriens. Or it might be IEN. But basically that's how you spell it. And you get that from happy high herbs.
I'm writing that.
Yeah, it's pretty important, Mucuna pruriens, because that's got all the neurotransmitters in trace amounts in it, but largely it's got L-Dopa, which is the precursor for dopamine, which makes you sleep better, makes less shorting out in your brain. Dopamine stops core shakes, and coupled with magnesium, it'll help you sleep better. So anyway, back to this post. That was just a bit on magnesium. So the difference between raw and cooked food is the cooked food lacks hormones, oxygen, phytonutrients, and enzymes. That's the difference between raw and cooked food, predominantly. So hormones are a sort of orchestrator in our body. They tell cells what to do. They, basically, if your hormones are out of whack, so are you. They affect mood, like tremendously, not just like magnesium can affect your mood, but hormones, are the master triggers to our metabolism. They tell cells what to do. They do a lot of stuff, and they're an upper level thing. For instance, eating zinc is something you consider eating zinc supplements after you get your hormones better. The focus of hormones, I'm trying to say, is paramount, more to your health than worrying about any single vitamin or mineral, okay? Because they're an upper level thing and they organise vitamins and minerals and so on. So very important, and hormones are completely cooked out when we cook food. They're made dead, null, void. So oxygen can be a delivery system. We all know, oxygen transports in the blood. Vitamins are destroyed or changes above 180 Fahrenheit will cook them, will destroy vitamins. Vitamins require oxygen and enzymes to carry them into the cell. So you might be getting your daily vitamins, but if your hormones, your oxygen's out of whack, you're still stopping the actual absorption. And from everything I've studied, absorption is a tricky area. For instance, we talked about liposomal delivery earlier, delivering the vitamin C straight through the gut to the cells more, and the half-life of resveratrol. So I just wanted to bring that back up again to make you realise what we're talking about here. Vitamins require oxygen and enzymes to carry them into the cell. Oxygen comes from raw organic living food, not cooked dead food. So think about every creature in nature, none of them cook their food.
Right.
I haven't seen a monkey sit there with a pot and pan yet. Phytonutrients.
Did you send this to me? And you sent this to me in message, didn't you?
Yeah. Oh yeah, some of this. I've expanded it though, yeah.
Yeah.
I've expanded it. That was when I was creating it the other night. So phytonutrients, the next point after hormones and oxygen in why eat raw food. More than 25, and not just go fully raw. Hey, you might be at a really good place to go fully raw for months at a time, and that's up to you. If you feel you can do that, go for it. But what I'm saying is, it's not necessarily you eat raw for the rest of your life. That's it, because then you're never going to have beans again. You've got to cook beans, and etc. There's all these little nuances. So when the vegan says to you only eat raw, just say shut up, vegan.
I don't. Yeah, I do have a mind of my own. That's for sure.
No, I'm telling you, it's bad around here. That's why I come up with that sort of quip, because it really annoys me around the place I live. It's like ultra hippie in the hills here. Anyway. Yeah. See, I'm a bit more balanced. So more than 25,000 phytonutrients are found in plant foods, and you're going to kill most of them when you cook the food. So WebMD, a website I like to look on because it's quite astute, takes a look at the six most important phytonutrients. So we're going to look at carotenoids, gallic acid, flavonoids, resveratrol, glucosinolates, and phytoestrogens. These are phytonutrients. So carotenoids, there's more than 600. You've got yellow, orange, reds, heaps of fruit and veggies. You know, carotenoids are famous for being found in carrots, but actually some other foods have more concentration of them. Like goji berries is a good one, and they're red. So goji berries are not a joke. Yeah, goji berries are not a joke. They're high in the Chinese medicinal system, and they're large qi energy food. Qi energy has to do with your metabolism and getting things going in your body. So again, gojis are not a joke, and it's not just a snack. It's a superfood. This means they tackle harmful free radicals. Carotenoids are antioxidants, and thus they attack or they mitigate free radical damage, which is the oxidative theory of aging that we've been talking about. The types of carotenoids may have health benefits include alpha-carotene, beta-carotene, cryptoxanthin. Your body can convert all of these into vitamin A. Now, some people don't recognize that there's vitamins and vitamins, and vitamins are these things that your body turns into vitamins. So when you get a little supplement and it says magnesium in the form of, if we go back up onto here, magnesium in the form of chloride, in the form of this, in the form of that, they're vitamins. Now it's the same vitamin or mineral, but just slightly in different form, and they're called vitamins. A lot of people don't know about that. So there's lycopene, the red pigment I mentioned before, tomatoes, watermelon, pink grapefruit. Lycopene's been linked to lower risk of breast cancer. Now lutein, I've mentioned this elsewhere. Lutein's a yellow pigment, and zeaxanthin's like a yellow orangey, I think it's like a pinky orangey red, if I remember. And lutein is like yellow. Lutein is what's under the chlorophyll in plants. All these leaves that turn yellow after they die, they go from green to yellow. That's the lutein being exposed. And lutein somehow stops light degrading systems, because we need actually quite a large dose of lutein for our eyes every day. So I do recommend you start eating a lot more like just leafy greens. Zeaxanthin can also be found in a lot of flowers. Whenever I've made myself a garden, I love certain types of plants for their flowers that are like orangey, yellow and red, because of the zeaxanthin's going to be in there. And those two things are...
Flowers, sort of like?
You can eat a lot of flowers. I've got a whole page, Your Natural Paradise, on all the flowers you can eat. Mm-hmm. Your Natural Paradise, if you look in Consciousazine. So these two are very important for your eyes. Ultimately, these two are the most important things. These may protect you against cataracts, macular degeneration, and eye problems. Those things also contain carotenoids. Onto agalic acid. Number of berries, strawberries, raspberries, pomegranates, against cancer, help your liver. Now, I don't know if you know about methylation from beetroot before we move on, because the liver's been mentioned here. I think it's very important, because today, since World War I, we've got something like 70,000 to 80,000 new synthetic chemicals and toxins introduced into our environment just in the last 60 or whatever years. So the liver has to detox every single one of these. Your liver is the detox organ in your body. Now, we talked about anger being stored in the liver, so that's a way to detox the liver on a spiritual level, but on a very pragmatic, second-dimensional body level, or in that manner, we want to treat it with beetroot. Beetroot has the best absorbable methylation. Methyl groups or methyl molecules are the detoxers. They grab onto the beetroot. No, beetroot. Beet greens are high in vitamin C, so they're good for when you've got a cold. Eating the greens are great for, like right now in your situation, it will really help. But so the beetroot is got that red.
I love the juice it.
Yeah, great.
It's thick.
That's the best way. Well, if you're juicing it and not just putting it in a blender, that's probably the best way to actually, you've got just the liquid there of the methylation. You're missing the fibre in that, but that's okay, because we're targeting methylation. So what happens is the methyl group grabs onto the toxins and detoxes it and deconstructs it. So when you've got no methyl groups and you're not eating 2 beetroots a week is the dose, by the way. 2 beetroots a week. That's the dose. I've done a whole video on this in my food plant teaching series. So when you're not getting enough, and you don't have to stay on that forever. It's a good idea, but for instance, in the last month, I haven't had any beetroot, and I feel like it. I probably will buy one very soon, but when you're doing this, just imagine that you don't need much more than 2 a week, and to stay constant so you don't get sick of it, I'd just stay on around 2 a week or something, because you get sick of things. Your body is like, oh, I've had enough. So 2 a week's a pretty good dose. And hey, you might quit it for a month and then go back on it, whatever. So these methyl groups, they grab onto the toxin and they deconstruct it and detox it, and then you can do things like help your system flush it with diuretics. Once it's deconstructed, you want to flush this stuff, so I take things like hibiscus tea, pear juice. They're diuretics, which means makes you pee more and pull out toxins. So any diuretic after or at the same time as you do this is a good idea. And pear juice, that's yummy, and it's a diuretic, so it doesn't have to be all painful. So just remember that there's all these toxins floating around, and beetroots. Let's move on to flavonoids. Obviously you've got the green tea, you've got the white part under the lemon skin, which is a bioflavonoid. Flavonols. Quercetin is a well-studied type of flavanol. Now, quercetin is even in parsley. I love parsley. Anyway, so
I don't like parsley, but I like cilantro. I like the taste.
There you go. It's also in there.
Smell.
So here they've labelled apples, berries, kale, and onions, but it is in other things. It might reduce the risk of
all that in my refrigerator.
Nice. Yeah, kale's interesting because some people reckon we can't absorb kale because it's so alkaline. So what you want to do, and I see what they're saying, because when you eat just kale, you can notice its unabsorbability. It's hard to absorb unless you really chew it, really break it down. So I'm not saying juice it. What I'm saying is take it with something that's like an acid that turns to a alkaline, like lemon. Lemon is a great thing to like cut it and help it absorb. So if you have kale in a smoothie, breaks it right up, you get to keep some of the fibre, and yet it explodes, the NutriBullet specifically explodes all the contents of the kale cells. So that's the best way to probably have it for absorption, again. Tricky absorption. And yeah, mix it with some lemon. Put just a little bit of lemon in your, half a lemon or something in your smoothie, whatever you feel comfortable with.
I've done a whole lemon before.
Nice. And then resveratrol. Now that's one of the major longevity compounds we're finding. It also has some effects that hops extract has, which is even touching. Like there's a pie graph you can draw on areas which it touches, and this overlaps a little bit with hops extract. If anyone out there is interested, look into that. And it can even touch on ADHD. Now, anyway, that's predominantly in grapes. We don't want to get it from the certain sources. You don't want to get it from Japanese knotweed. If you see a product that has resveratrol derived from Japanese knotweed, this is not the best ever. We want resveratrol from grape derived and red wines. Remember that alcohol's a driver, so that is a good way to get it.
I just got some purple organic grape juice today.
Okay.
I was going to walk out, I turned around, I was like, I want some purple grape juice.
Yeah, see, it's good when you're doing things like that. That's like not your parasites talking. Unless it's got a load of sugar in there. Just check the sugar contents of all your juices.
Right, there's just the only thing that said it is grapes.
Yeah.
But then again, it still could have sugar content in it
from the grape.
I found a cherry drink once that was just like 47 cherries in there. Awesome. So good. Anyway, glucosinolates are found in cruciferous vegetables. By the way, they're cruciferous because they've got a cross down them when you cut them in half. Anyway, including Brussels sprouts, cabbage, kale, and broccoli. Now, do you know about indole 3-carbinol, the anti-cancerous, anti-tumoral compound in broccoli?
I've read about it.
Okay, well that's up there. That's like that's one of those top things that you're trying to tell yourself is like one of the best things ever, and it really is. It's so powerful. Broccoli extracts. Broccoli sprouts are also very good. And they've got protein, and as we'll see, we'll go into that in a second actually. So
I think they actually have a high content of protein. Broccoli does?
Yeah.
Higher than most vegetables.
Yeah, well the cruciferous have some protein in them too, yeah. Let's go on to phytoestrogens. Hold on. The glucosinolates turn into other chemicals during the cooking process, and while you digest these foods, these chemicals may help hold in check the development and growth of cancer, definitely, like the indole 3-carbinol. So, phytoestrogens, because of their structure, phytoestrogens can exert estrogen-like effects. They can also block the effects of your natural supply of estrogen. So, soy foods contain isoflavonols, a type of phytoestrogen. Some evidence suggests that soy foods may be linked to lower risk of endometrial cancer. Lower risk of bone loss.
It has to do endometrial. It has to do with the ovary.
Ah, so it's an ovary cancer. Okay.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. And bone loss, it says it in women, that's meant to say. Anyway, so just quickly, I lived with some, let's again go with the word hippies. I lived with some alternative people up in the hills a while ago, 2 years ago, and it's just going to be stuck in my memory for the rest of my life because I'm a visionary and sometimes I see things with my eye that science is not up to yet. And he said to me, and these people obviously ate tofu a lot because I could see it in his eye, the energy. And he said to me, no, actually it's not a xenoestrogen, which is like a fake estrogen effect. And that's what they're saying, it can block your estrogens and exert estrogen effects. And I'm like, are you sure? He says, I saw a peer-reviewed article, this and this, saying no, it's not actually like that. And I made a quote the other day, oh yeah, while I was looking at his eye, looking at his aromatization, and aromatization is actually the over-estrogenization of your brain, taking the testosterone, the progesterone, the androgens, turning them to estrogens, And this is actually an aging thing, a very aging thing, and in all older women it's like quite visible. Not that lady back there we saw on the health page who's like super healthy 70-year-old. Not that lady, I can't see it in her, but I can see it in you.
Do you see it?
No, I can't see it in you. There's many older ladies that you can see this aromatization in, and as they age and don't do anything about it, it becomes almost all of them. And it's like a natural sort of aging thing that's going on. Now, it's called aromatization. Passion flower is really good against it, and there's a certain type of mushroom. The mushroom that's on the pizza, actually, that common mushroom, is the one that removes it from your body, and that's important because otherwise it reabsorbs in your intestinal tract. So we've got to learn about removing things completely out sometimes as well. Anyway, back to aromatization. So it's the over-estrogenation of your brain, and it ages you, and it makes you very neurotic, I've noticed. And this is what I saw in his look and gaze at me. And that's why I made my quote, "Oh yeah, sure," while I'm looking at your aromatization. So just be aware of eating too much tofu. Even though some peer-reviewed studies would disagree with me, I'm just saying my opinion from what I can see. And it's well known that tofu's like packed with it. So I don't even know what they're trying to kid themselves with anyway. Flax seeds also has got the estrogen effect, that's why it's on this list. Sesame seeds, okay. Your body converts lignans, another type of phytonutrient, into chemicals with some estrogen-like effects. Now, I recently shot a video, blood type eating, which is how our blood types, I'm O positive, for instance, I'm O positive, my blood type, if you're not O positive, converts some sugar-attaching lignans differently in our bodies. So look at my video on that if you want to look more into that. Anyway, enzymes, very important. Enzymes are involved in lysis. This is just one thing enzymes do, which is cell death by enzymatical action, so that it sort of takes apart the cell like an apoptic effect, which is early programmed cell death, so that your body's programming it so it doesn't turn into a dead, decaying carcass, the cell, that spills its contents. So in other words, it's like a cleanliness factor inside your body, right? It's like the cleaner. So enzymes can help you clean your body. They can keep you, they can allow you to have a tighter skin, keep you with tighter skin. You'll hear a lot of like raw foodists go on about enzymes, and I'm basically the same now, because they seem to be life per se. Like they're running around doing all these things in your body. It's like when you see a protein on a video in microbiology carry an endorphin to your brain. You know, endorphins are these feel-good things. So, and you can literally watch this thing walking along. I could show you if you want. And it's walking along inside your cell, and you're wondering how this thing has consciousness anyway. Enzymes are like that. They do a lot of stuff. So without these things, it's like less movement, less life in your body. That's how I see it, okay? The outside shell of an enzyme is indeed protein. You know, not protein from meat, these proteins which are made out of enzymes and all this stuff in the body. Amino acids. When I said in my video papaya carica leaf has 50 amino acids. I don't know anything else that has 50 amino acids. So again, the pawpaw leaf is really good. Now, those 50 amino acids will create a whole load of proteins in your body, and they do stuff like carry endorphins to the brain. Same with enzymes, they do a lot of stuff, and the outside shell of an enzyme is actually made of proteins. So this helps your body maintain electromagnetic frequency and life. Enzymes keep your skin tight, like I said. There's the example of the protein. Cooking and meat. Half of the protein is lost during a solid cook-off, by the way. So unless you're eating, you know, medium rare to rare steak, you're not even getting the 18 to 20% protein in there anyway. And it is only about that much. Isn't that shocking? Everyone thinks that meat's just loaded with protein, and it's actually not like that. As we're about to see, spirulina has 40% protein, the most of any food that we know of. And that's a blue.
Is there a way that you can put your screen over to the right?
No.
More so I can see some of that, or no?
No, I can't move it. It's actually doing the whole screen. Okay. I'm actually shooting the entire screen, and you'll see it in the recording.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but I can't move it because once it's like on, it's on.
Okay.
So yeah, it's funny that spirulina has the highest protein, and meat only has about half of that, like 20% protein. So there you go. All the people who are heavy into meat and the whole argument, where do you get your protein from? Look at the elephant and the gorilla. They're very big animals that eat like 100 different greens, leaves, bamboo, etc. during the day, but not so much meat. I haven't seen an elephant eating meat.
Right.
Anyway, well, I haven't. Cooking anything.
I've just. Yeah.
That's what I mean. We're living an unconscious life out there, and we're communicating unconsciousness to each other and trying to make it a fact when it's just there's nothing behind it. So actually, meat is made up of about 20% or so protein. For anyone who's listening, destroys the amino acids when you cook it, and remember they're making the proteins in the body. Those little things that do stuff. They're like little guys that carry stuff around your body. So they're the building blocks of proteins, the amino acids. Remember, your body does produce many amino acids, but there's those 18 essential amino acids. If you look into it, there's 18 essential amino acids because they can only be gained from food, apparently. Some people say it's 9. I've heard 18, so I'm just going with that. Papaya, caracal, pawpaw leaves contain 50, to reiterate. Anyway, consumption of casein and milk protein in dairy foods has a higher correlation to cancer than cigarettes to lung cancer. Brian Clement, Hippocrates Institute, said that. Meat leaves behind fats and acidity. And you know, when you go into an acidic body state, we're reflecting that into the world, and you start being satanic almost. I correlate this to the human body becoming satanic, not worshipping Satan, but it's an energy. And I've got a video on that, so I'm not going to go into that right now. But you can tell that energy that I'm speaking of, it's not exactly pleasant and nice and compassionate and etc. So you get a bit neurotic. So you get a bit neurotic in acidity. And you can see this reflected into the world because we have ocean acidification, for an instance. It's all connected. Everyone eats meat, everyone's acidic. Trust me, it's all connected. Anyway, so you need to alkalize if you're going to eat meat. Whenever I eat some chicken now, I'll make sure I have like a juice or something with me. Like I'll have like a kale, spinach, etc. juice or something like that. Like I'll have some sort of mixed juice, which is super alkaline. Protein. Which foods have the most protein then? Well, apparently it's foods that are closest to the sun. Who knew? I did not know that. What's that mean? Well, the blue-green algae show this. They epitomize it because they're the ones who created most of the oxygen and create most of our oxygen, more than the trees. Remember, they started oxygen production on the planet too, before any trees were on the land. Spirulina, for example, is about 40% protein. Uncooked meat is perhaps 20. These have the spirulina, or the blue-green algae, have the top essential fatty acid, the exact one your brain is made of. Spirulina is a cyanobacterium, those two types there. Hemp seed, they're also almost 40% protein. What else do I notice about the hemp seed? Again, they're close to the sun. Plants are falling up. They're falling up into the sun. Plants, the hemp growing cycle, which alludes to this, it being so close to the sun, is only 13 weeks, and that's why we should be using hemp over timber. We can create 50,000 textiles, your curtains, your clothes, whatever. You can make a house out of hempcrete.
I eat a handful of hemp every day.
Awesome. Now, I shot a part in Amalgamated Maximum Novelty Health 5, or number 4. I actually shot a segment just on hemp seeds, and only because I found Larissa's product. Now, this product's awesome because they're not like these other idiots which just label under nutritional information sugar, saturated fat, and energy, and be real ambiguous. They had it all written out. Now, you can view that video for that because I can't remember it all. There's so much in hemp seeds that I can't remember it all. It's unbelievable. For instance, what I do remember, there was in 30 gram of hemp seed, there was something like 30 or 40% of your daily recommended value of manganese. And magnesium was also high in it. Iron, it was reasonable in iron. But the manganese stood out to me. I went, wow, so if I eat 60 grams, I'm getting like almost my daily amount of manganese. And, you know, that's another thing that we're not getting in meat, we're not getting in many places. So hemp seed, when you look at that video I made, there's a breakdown of at least, it would have to be at least 30 to 40 things were on the back of this thing, on the back of the package, with a breakdown, manganese being one. There was amino acids in there. There was a whole chart on amino acids in there. So not only does it have protein, but it has proteins or amino acid building blocks in there as well. So it's very interesting. So hemp having a quick growing cycle shows me that it was close to the sun, I just reckon. Which means when we look at the pawpaw leaf and how it grows really quickly. The pawpaw tree, if you've ever seen a pawpaw tree grow, it can grow really quickly as well. Once it gets up to like a foot or two tall, it just takes off. And I had the chance of shooting a big tree in one of my videos, and remember, it contains 50 amino acids. So there's something in this foods closest to the sun idea to do with protein and proteins that has some merit. Anyway, third, sea vegetables, which do not pick up radioactivity unless you really pour radioactivity like on it directly. And remember, they contain things like iodine, which is the detox hormone of the thyroid, and the thyroid interacts with all the meridians, so it's very important, and it's very important for sleep and very important for women in menopause and hormones, and we talked about hormones before. So sea vegetables are very important. High protein and essential fats, more nutritional than land veggies. Now, we've degraded the soil, especially American soil, I know, is very degraded from the long agricultural and mass agricultural use. So it's making less nutritious foods when you have worse soil. Makes total sense. And where's it all gone? Into the sea as well. And you know, not just being used by the foods, but they're more nutritionally packed. You'll notice that when you chew on wakame, I love wakame, I always eat wakame for the fucose, which is an essential sugar. By the way, there's 8 essential sugars, which are saccharides and polysaccharides, and I would direct you to David Wolf's film on the 8 essential sugars, because I didn't realise there was essential sugars. More densely packed are the sea veggies with minerals than the land veggies. So that's why I eat my seaweeds like dulce and wakame. I'm into at the moment. And fucose in wakame, which is not in dulce, I don't think, and it's not in like the other sea vegetables that I know of anyway. When I researched, I found most fucose was in wakame, and that's why I've been eating a lot of wakame, because it's a neurotransmitter between the axons of the neurons of the brain. So it's actually helping your brain fire. It's a sugar for the brain. And lastly, sprouts. Now, as a seed, just when sprouts are seeds, they've got a good amount of protein. And just with every pound of seeds, you can make 10 pounds of nutritional food. So that's why they're in this list. Mung bean sprouts are a complete protein. I think that means that they've got all 18 amino acids or essential fatty acids. I can't remember. But a complete protein, there's a thing that it means. We could look that up quickly, actually, because I've forgotten. A complete protein. Oh, hey, Bing. What are you doing to me, Bing? I'm going to Google. Google. Okay. Complete protein. Just go to Wiki. So yes, that's what it is. It's got the essential amino acids, I thought so. So there you go, there's just some of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So they're listing 9 when I said 18 before. Like I said, some people think it's only 9 of them. So there they are. And so that's what a complete protein food means. Okay? There's my quote, actually. Soy is fucked, and every vegan along with it. They say to me as their eye wanes, oh, I saw a study, soy is not xenoestrogen. Yeah, right, whilst I watch your aromatization. Yeah, I'm a rude boy.
Ooh. I have chills.
Well, I hope you learned something from that. I did too. Oh, what is the time here? 1 second.
Yeah, I think my stomach